I've never had any visual encounters, but when it happened for the first time, I was laying on my left side and started to feel that pressure on my chest. When I realized I was paralyzed and started panicking, something whispered in my ear, "Just coming to say goodnight." That's when I felt like something was pushing me towards the edge of my bed. Terrifying shit. I've been having the same dream regularly since I was a child. I wake up in my bed. There's someone in the house. I can hear the footsteps moving around, coming up the stairs slowly. If I stay still, maybe the person won't come for me. I can hear him coming down the hall, and I can see his shadow. He's a minotaur. He has a knife, and he's coming for me. I scream. I wake up relieved, except there's someone at my bedroom door. And this time, I can't scream. I get this on a regular basis, but mostly when I nap, not when I go to sleep for the night. I've never experienced the demon, but the experience is terrifying. I can see everything, or at least it seems like I can, but I'm unable to move. I feel like if I don't make any effort to move, I will be stuck like that forever. I usually have to start by wiggling a toe or a finger, and then keep moving that momentum until I fully wake up. It takes an extreme amount of effort, and if I don't keep up the effort, I have to start all over again. I get sleep paralysis quite a lot, but you don't get used to it. It's just intense pressure holding you down. I can't speak. I can usually see the shadow of a dark figure out of the corner of my eye, but I can't turn my head to look at it. That's pretty terrifying. Lucky for me, my partner is used to this, and we have a code. I start breathing really quickly and loudly, and if he notices, then he helps snap me out of it. I've gotten mine so frequently that I don't even freak out about it anymore. It's still scary, but not nearly as much as it used to be. The first few hallucinations were awful. A little creature eating something on my floor. I blink. Now he's right next to my face, chewing on something, and whispers, "Remember me?" An old lady standing over my head and whispers, "Darling." I told my mom about that one, and she asked if I thought it was my late grandmother. No, it was evil. The hallucinations are always evil. Even if I can't see anything, there's an overwhelming presence in the room, and it's always evil. I can't move, I'm stuck. The evil is pulling on me deeper and deeper. I can't cry for help. I can only breathe heavily as fast as I can, hoping that someone will hear me breathing so loud and will come shake it out of me. I try and move a finger. Come on, finger, why won't you just move? It's going to get me. It happens every time I fall asleep on my back. I wake up and I can't tell if my eyes are open or shut. But I can see my whole room. A dark presence is lurking on top of my wardrobe, and as soon as I notice it, I try and scream. But I can't scream, and I can't move. The darkness slithers down the side of my wardrobe, across the floor, and looms over the end of my bed. Then it creeps all over me, trying to invade every orifice. I feel an immense pressure, like it has been pinning me down and pushing its way into my ears, eyes, and mouth. The darkness then screams a terrible screech into my face, and I try to scream back until eventually I manage to jerk my head, and everything disappears. And I'm alone in the darkness. It is the most terrifying of experiences. My last sleep paralysis experience was a demon in the corner of my room, behind me where I couldn't see, speaking some form of gibberish. Other times, it's things walking towards me, totally Jacob's Ladder style, as in they move toward almost hyper speed but very slow, and their legs don't match their movements. A lot of the times, if it isn't a demon, it's someone I know, but they are possessed, often laughing at me. I usually see someone come into my room with a crazed grin, staring at me. I try to scream, but I just can't. They lean over me and start suffocating me. It's a sense of overwhelming helplessness. The whole time I'm just repeating to myself, wake up, wake up, wake up. It happens to me when I'm overtired, usually when I'm taking a nap. It always depends on the dream I'm having. I'll wake up, unable to move, but with an intense pressure on my body. That almost feels good but scary because I can't control what's going on. Whenever I was dreaming about will be projected into my room. For example, my mother talking to me, one time a little black child, usually just different people or demons as you call them. I'll snap out of it and fall back asleep. Then it'll happen again for a few seconds. And finally, after a few times, I will completely wake up in a panic. I started experiencing sleep paralysis during the exam period of my first year at university. A very stressful time for me. The first time it happened, I woke up with a feeling I was being suffocated. My bed was literally swallowing me up. The more I panicked and the faster my pulse and breathing became, the quicker I was disappearing into the bed. I couldn't move a muscle, and my attempts to scream were silent. After I calmed myself down, I kind of drifted out of my paralysis state and woke up completely. The second time it happened, I awoke to see a very tall man standing by my door, holding something behind his back and moving towards me very slowly. Once again, I couldn't move, and I couldn't make a sound. It is definitely the most terrifying experience. The first time it happened, I remember waking up and an enormous pressure bearing down on me and a loud, almost deafening buzzing sound in my ears. I felt threatened, as though some malevolent, demonic presence was hovering above me, trying to possess me, trying to force itself into my body, and I was unable to fight it off. I can remember trying to speak, to tell it to go away, to leave me alone, and that it wouldn't let it have me. Eventually, the sound in my ears faded away, and the pressure eased, and I was able to move again. At the time, I didn't really know what sleep paralysis was. It wasn't until I stumbled upon an article about it that I realized that I was suffering from it. Although I know that I'm not actually being attacked by a demonic force, it's still absolutely terrifying when you're stuck in that moment and unable to do anything except wait for it to end. One night I was trying to fall asleep. My arm fell through the bed. Obviously, my physical arm was still laying on the bed. Usually when this happens, I just pick my arm up, but this time I got curious. How long would it last? So I started waving my arm around, and my shoulder slipped through. This was new and exciting. I moved my fingers around, swung my arm around some more, and got bold. I consciously attempted to push my head through the bed. It worked, but what I saw was nothing. I don't mean I couldn't see, but it was as if something was in fact nothing in this place. I must sound totally bonkers right now. I could feel, though, that there was something farther away. My fear being absolutely zero at this point, and my curiosity impossible to control. I threw caution to the wind and tried to reach out as far as I could for whatever it was I could feel out there. Big mistake. My leg slipped. The rest of my torso slipped. My other arm slipped, and my hips started to fall in. At that very last moment, my left leg was all that was attached, and it was about to go. I realized somehow that what I was reaching for was not a thing I wanted to interact with. There was fear, an intensity equal to my rage during sleep paralysis. Fear like I've never experienced. At this point, I tried to pull back, but there was nothing I can do. I tried to swing my leg back up to smash into my body, but it was stretched down, like being pulled into a void. My other knee slipped. Nothing but my foot, ankle down, and a part of my left hip holding me up at this point. I was pretty sure I was about to be gone, whatever that even means. Just as the last second, something reached in, grabbed my shoulder, and yanked me back up. Like it was nothing. I couldn't even explain this properly either. The hand felt solid, powerful, like I was in its natural habitat. It pulled me back up. With all the difficulty of lifting a cotton ball, I slammed back into my body with a feeling of finality. As if to say, no fucking way am I letting you fall into that. I get sleep paralysis 4 to 5 times a year. It happens mostly when I fall asleep during the day. I have vague, non-specific dreams, usually involving threat or danger. It's accompanied by a feeling of extreme dread, which then escalates into outright terror. I tend to have auditory hallucinations. The voice will be clear, and I'll hear it as if someone is standing right next to me. Now, I know I'm sleeping, but the voice is so real. Sometimes, I also see a figure standing nearby. I try to scream, but I just can't make a sound. I'll try to run, but I can't move. Somewhere in my mind, I'm aware I'm asleep, but I still cannot wake up or move. I am pinned down. The only way to come around is to let the terror overwhelm me, and then I slowly come to. I don't wake up violently, thrashing, screaming, or sweating. I'm calm, but it takes me a couple of hours to feel normal again. It isn't the same as a nightmare. The feelings with sleep paralysis are profoundly intense, but based on non-specific threats. There's no monster, no axe murderer, no terrible accident. Just you, alone with your fear, and unable to escape it. I've had 2 experiences of sleep paralysis. The first time, there were just different faces coming towards me. No bodies, just faces. It was terrifying. The second time, I had been having a vivid nightmare about being burgled. And when I went into sleep paralysis, I saw a man just crouching beside my bed, wearing a red checkered shirt, who was holding a knife. I have never concentrated so hard on blinking. The experiences felt like they had lasted forever, but must have only lasted about a minute at most. I've had 2 experiences of sleep paralysis. The first time, there were just different faces coming towards me. No bodies, just faces. It was terrifying. The second time, I had been having a vivid nightmare about being burgled. And when I went into sleep paralysis, I saw a man just crouching beside my bed, wearing a red checkered shirt, who was holding a knife. I have never concentrated so hard on blinking. The experiences felt like they had lasted forever, but must have only lasted about a minute at most. My mom once told me that when she was younger, her room lit up, and a couple of men dressed in white and gold were sitting at the foot of her bed, playing music. One had a guitar and the other had some kind of wind instrument. My mom said she felt such joy and peace that she didn't want them to go, ever. But when she finally managed to move her head, she heard the one say to the other, She's waking up. It's time for us to go." Then they vanished. So, have you guys ever experienced sleep paralysis? After reading 14 out of these 15, I don't think I ever want to. I mean, you guys know I'm a medium. I already see spirits everywhere. I don't need to be paralyzed with them sitting on top of me and like suffocating me. No, thank you. No es bueno. Yeah, please remember you can email me your stories. Anything scary. It could be a scary nightmare. It could be a scary, paranormal experience. It could be a scary, I don't know, people being people thing. You know what I mean? Just email it to me. It'll be in the description, guys. My Facebook will be in the description. I also have a Snapchat. I guess my Snapchat name will be in the description. I don't know. I don't really know how I'm doing with Snapchat. I don't know how it works. So apologize. I am a big Snapchat noob. But remember, guys, my last video will be on the top left. My new video will be on the bottom left. And remember, there's always someone or something watching you.